Gilbert. Did I say that correctly? And he's also a leading national consultant as well. So if you would please welcome Mr. Gilbert.
Well, good morning.
Morning.
So, given you're excited about all you've heard, I don't know whether you'll be that excited about what we're doing, but because most of what we're doing is what the customer sees rather than what you see on your screens. But our partnership with SCDC goes back a long way. Ron and I, and Susan, who's in the room, had this idea way back when, almost 15, 18 years ago, to add to what your billing systems do to customers and add tools that customers could use to understand the subject of that bill as an educational element. And my talk today is really about changing that view that the customers have that the bill is a grudge payment. If you think about it, most people don't look forward to the idea of receiving a utility bill, especially at this time of the year. We're about to change that. And I'm not exaggerating. In fact, I'd go this far. If your thought is not about changing that perception, you're going to be the victim of this failure to think that way. The idea here is that we send customers bills. Do they engage the customer in a way that actually causes the customer to think about their responsibility and their energy choices, but also, basically, to change those choices so they can save money if they'd like to. So I've got a couple of slides here to indicate where we are. Now, many of you are our clients, and by the way, thank you so much, because in the 660 utility clients you see there, most of them are cooperatives. So we do appreciate your business. We serve a huge number of cooperatives across the United States. As a matter of fact, we serve more cooperatives than anybody else. So we do appreciate your business. But many of you have used our software kind of by itself. And the idea with the latest portal that SCDC is about to release for you, you can actually integrate it right into that portal without any extra work. And so as you work with SCDC on your portal and you come back to our booth over here, you'll actually start to see, wow, that can really enhance my online portal. And that's the thought today. But if you're not familiar with Apogee, we have a couple of interesting distinctives. One, besides being very large in the cooperative space, we had a national competition on the ability for our software to predict bills. And that national competition was due to the large amount of government spending from you and me that was about to be spent on energy efficiency. So the question was, can you predict the energy changes in homes? And so we went through a national competition and emerged the national leader. Also how to analyze those bills, and you'll see a lot of what we're dealing with today. And again, because of all of your support, we do appreciate that. We are the largest provider. Now, it doesn't matter to most of you, but if you do care, we are also certified woman-owned, and therefore I am no longer the leader. And that happened a long time ago. Actually, I recognized that in my marriage even longer before that. So this is kind of an indication of how easy it will be for you to add this to the portal. You'll notice, and if you haven't seen the portal, this is just a screenshot of one of the screens in the portal. You'll see that we're adding Analyze My Bill. And that is how easy it's going to be to add the functionality so that the home energy calculator, this illustration is from Flynn, will then emerge in the portal. And the account number will automatically come in, so the customer doesn't have to enter it and things like that. So for those of you who are interested in this, come out to the booth and please take a look at how this is going to work. It's going to be seamless and easy. Now what I'd like to do is to change your mind about those bills. And I know to some of you, you can't believe a customer would ever care. But I receive emails from customers who are on this calculator from all across the country. We serve almost 50 million consumers on this calculator, and I get most of these emails. So like you, I have a full life. I'm almost all day and all night, I'm receiving emails. And what I've noticed is we have the consumer's attention today, largely because of the economic malaise all across the country. Small changes in the bill are being perceived seen in the past. I'm surprised that people are looking at $3 and $5 changes in the bill and trying to understand why that happens. And that wasn't true years ago. So what I'm suggesting here is we have their attention. So the idea then is to create a portfolio of opportunities for the consumer to get the information they might want on those bills. And a couple of these ideas are kind of radically new. For instance, what I'd suggest that you take a look here are some words that you may never have seen before. Obviously, we all know CSR, and that's not a big surprise. IVR isn't a big surprise, and we now can integrate into your IVR, and Centurion with Flint is integrating with us at Flint. But the new word, ITR, is one you probably have never heard of, interactive text response. And we'll talk about that this morning, and the idea that consumers might actually not want to use the phone to talk to somebody is an emerging area that we need to get ready for as a business. And you, of course, have all of the other usual things that you'd expect to do, including online energy audits and situations like that. So we're going to talk about a whole range of ideas of how to reduce cost, improve customer satisfaction, and most importantly, change the perception of the bill. So let's start with the energy efficiency business. For years, this was purely customer service or program driven because you had to run a program. The energy efficiency business is now in a huge transition. It's a very big expense area for many of you. Therefore, managing it efficiently as an area of investment in consumer satisfaction and also harvesting energy efficiency as a resource is going to mean we have to separate homes we should visit from homes we don't need to visit, and we could help that consumer just on a telephone basis. So this idea of becoming more efficient as we run these programs is going to now take what we have in those bills and change the value internally to actually use it as a triage method. Which homes should we go out and visit? Which are the best candidates? And can we even spot problems in the bills themselves? So we need to just basically change the whole idea. I'm going to show you from Jackson EMC how they've done it for years this way, and if you'd like to, I'm sure there are people from Jackson EMC who can talk to you about this whole idea. But the idea of just a customer having you come out and visit just because they bark at you is an idea that's time has passed. You have to decide whether it's worth the trip to the customer because, frankly, rolling a car or rolling a truck is pretty expensive. So the idea of first response to that customer service can drastically reduce the tire kicking in the business. And several of you have told us that our tools have dropped the tire kicking by a factor of 10. So that the 9 out of 10 that were tire kicking can be solved without ever rolling out to visit them. That is the issue of many of you in the room who are trained customer service representatives who really now are empowered to know what's going on in the house and whether that bill was driven by the weather or not, driven by a rate change from season to season, driven by the number of days in the cycle or whatever. And you're not sitting there having to roll somebody out. And you can actually still now advise the consumer without having to visit them. It's very powerful. Then, when the energy advisor actually comes into the house, they're not coming in blind and unknowing. You actually can go in knowing pretty much what they're going to see when they get there. And of course, finally, if you are going to do qualified work like Jackson does with actual retrofits and guarantee them, you'll probably bring in a BPI certified professional because you don't want to change houses without care. If you've never seen Jackson EMC's website, you might want to go on. This is not our work, even though we do websites, but you can see their cascade to start with the self-help, going into the in-home audit, that's kind of a low-end audit, and then going into a true high-quality investment-grade audit. Jackson has perfected this system for years, and it works. It saves money, it improves customer satisfaction, and it actually helps you refine your programs. So this idea of energy efficiency transitioning from a customer service only, call us if you just want us to come, which I call bark and we just respond, has to move to an energy efficient model. Okay.